Their idea, it wasn't mine. I'll never do it again. I'm sorry.
There were rumors that you had a shrine to Michael, that you were an obsessed fan before you had met him. Is any of that true?
I must confess that as a little girl, I did have his picture on the wall next to Bobby Sherman and Jack Wilde and Donny Osmond.
Your shrines.
No shrine, sorry.
What kind of stuff did you do? Did you go out to the ranch a lot? And did he start flirting? Or, I mean, was it a typical boy meets girl romance?
Yeah, we'd go out and do stuff.
So you'd go out to the ranch?
Sneak him into premieres and things. Yeah, we had a good time. We had a good time. He's always a lot of fun. We'd sneak out without security. We got caught. I was, oh my God, this is like a Beatles film. We're getting chased by people. We'd have to call security and they'd bail us out. Was it intense, Bam? No, it was over time. It was over time. I think it was 18 years, 17, 18 years that I knew him. I think we have a lot of the same personality, flirtatious and speaking and kidding around and stuff.
You had sex? Is that how...
Why are you guys so interested in what... Okay, I've got to tell you something.
Yeah.
When that door closes, that's my business. That is not your business. And that is extremely inappropriate to ask.
There is no comment. There'll probably continue to be no comment about a number of things. For a number of reasons. Mostly it's none of your damn business.
When did Michael start talking about wanting to have kids? Was this when he was still with Lisa Marie? Or?
No, they had broken up. And I was trying to console him because he was really upset. And he was upset that, he said he really wanted to be a dad. And I said, so be a dad. And he looked at me puzzled. And I said, let me do this. I said, you need to be a dad. I want to do this. And nagged him into it, if you will.
If someone needs something, I'm there,
Did you ever want to have children before you met Michael?
No, these are the ultimate love children. I remember the conversation. And I said, let me do this for you. And he said, you do this for me? And I said, yeah. Please let me do this for you. I had a miscarriage, actually, before we had Prince, which was, I was just devastated. And who was there to console me the whole time? Michael.
And then you guys decided to give it another try.
Oh, yeah. The first part, when no one knew, it was like our little secret. Just kept kind of getting bigger and bigger. Michael was definitely more excited than I was. He was so excited when we had a contraction. And he was there. We had videos, we had music, But he was there the whole time, held my hand, stroked my head, and then his son was born. And the look on his face. I'd never seen him that happy. And that's what made it wonderful for me, was to see the look on his face. There was just no getting in touch with Michael. He was with his son. Everybody says, mother and baby are doing fine. Father and baby are doing fine.
Now, there are other reports about you that you were paid to have as children, that you were...
Really?
Is that true?
I would think that I'd be pretty unaffordable. No.
Some insiders say that many Americans disapproved of Michael and Debbie's plan to have a child out of wedlock, and that leads some to speculate the marriage may have been the ultimate PR move.
If you have a child out of wedlock, the kids were going to have it hard enough as it was. They didn't need to have that label placed upon them, like their fathers had so many placed upon him. They should, if there was one way we could remove it or try to make it what people thought normal. I think that marriage is a great institution when children are involved. And we had talked about the marriage thing before, and then we went back and forth on it.
Did give you a ring?
It was, yeah. I'm sure you go back and find a picture of it somewhere, but I keep it in a special spot at home, and it's not a shrine. It's
No.
a special spot. And we got married.
With a preacher or reverend or
Justice of the Peace,
justice of the peace?
and friends with us.
Michael Jackson is a married man again. He walked down the aisle down under today with the woman who is carrying his child.
And I was exhausted because I'd just flown in. And he had done his show, and after he does his show, he's very up.
It's a honeymoon.
He was working.
He was working.
What are you
You
thinking?
really didn't even have a honeymoon. And did you spend your wedding night with Michael?
We didn't because I was so tired, and he had just finished a concert, and I'd just flown in. I was exhausted. We were in the same suite. I opened the door, and I said, I have to go to the other part of the building. I need my rest. I'm pregnant.
You had never shared a bedroom. You had never slept in the same bed. Wasn't consummated. Wasn't a real marriage because of that.
I find that extremely inappropriate to ask. What happens behind closed doors between me and my husband is our business. One of the best things to do, I think, when you love someone, don't you ever wake up in the middle of the night and just look at him? And I could sit and stare at him for hours.
So you're expecting?
Yes, a little girl in May, and we're going to name her Paris Michael Catherine. I wanted to name her Michael after Michael, but Michael said no. So we decided Paris because that's where she was conceived.
Yeah.
Michael because I really want Michael's name in her name, and Catherine after his mom.
Yeah, we've kind of told we should wait. You know, I guess there's a suggested waiting time, but I was flying to Paris all the time. It's actually how she got her name. It's where she was conceived. He was so overwhelmed when Prince was born, just by the whole experience, that when Paris was born, he was able to absorb it because he said, oh my God, she's beautiful. When she came out and touched her head, and he was able to be more hands-on.
They said that Michael snatched a newborn Paris from the delivery room with the placenta still on her and basically kidnapped her out of the room and ran off with her.
How do you kidnap
leaving
your
you-
own child?
Well,
He did not leave a ransom note, so I doubt that it was a kidnapping.
did you long to be a family there, to be all three of you living together because you weren't living there? So did you long to be a part of it, to be the mom?
We are a family. We're not a conventional family. And if it makes people uncomfortable, it's a shame that they're not more open. We are a family unit. He said, you don't know what they can do. And I said, oh, Michael, come on. I found out at one point a picture of me pregnant was worth $500,000. To who and why? Have they never ever seen someone pregnant before? Am I supposed to look different pregnant because it's Michael's baby?
I didn't think it was going to be this brutal.
Debbie Rowe talking about the tabloids. I met the Jackson family this weekend at their ranch at Neverland, and I asked Debbie Rowe to once again set the record straight. The tabloids have characterized her as a joke or a freak for having Michael's son.
It's very hurtful, even if it's a lie. And I don't care what the Inquirer says. They're not truthful. They don't go for the facts. They go for the sensationalism. They go for the story. They don't care who they hurt.
What do you think is the biggest misconception the public has about Debbie Rowe?
That I do stuff for money. It's hurtful. I don't care how old you are.
It doesn't make it any easier that people form opinions and make judgment calls and think that I'm somebody that I'm not, or I do things that I don't.
Only Hard Copy has the exclusive photos of Michael and Lisa Marie out on the town Saturday night. Meanwhile, Jackson's pregnant wife, Debbie Rowe, sits home alone eating pickles and ice cream. Where's his wife? Well, Debbie Rowe is presumably at home minding little Prince and preparing to have baby number 2.
Then there are the stories about Michael having an affair with his ex-wife, Lisa Marie Presley. Like the weekend, they appeared together in South Africa.
And then I also heard that same weekend that Michael had married Lisa in Johannesburg. So I waited for him to call me that night, and I said, oh, congratulations. And he said, for what? I said, you and Lisa got married. I said, it's wonderful. I said, wait a minute. I said, that means you have 2 wives.
How does the Lisa thing get so out of hand?
I'm not sure if it's, they want to think that Michael's out having an affair, that he's not capable of having a friendship, you know?
You never worry about things like fidelity,
No.
cheating on you, anything like that?
No. No, we have great communication. I am so glad that they have a relationship together. I'm glad to see them together. My friendship with him is the most important thing to me. And if this marriage gets in the way of that friendship, then we'll put the marriage aside, but I want to go on as friends. That's more important to me than anything else.
So Little Prince is going to have a sister.
Yes.
How about after that?
Let's see. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. I'm getting old. I hope so. I hope we have a lot of kids together.
So I know Michael, obviously he wanted more children. Was he upset that you didn't want to have any more with him? Did he want to have more with you?
It was very emotional for both of us, you know, because I think it kind of changed the friendship a little bit at that point. Kind of felt like I was walking out on a friend. I love you very much, but I can't.
2 is it.
I can't. No, not 2 is it. It wasn't the babies that was it. It was the media that was it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every time something would happen and it would be on the 4 o'clock news, it would be disastrous for me. Either it didn't happen or it was made to look like it was something else, and it was just too stressful.
Mm-hmm.
Split up because they got to a point where I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with the fact I couldn't go to the grocery store. Michael is more than generous. He said, we don't have to go to the grocery store. No, but I want to. I really want to. I want to go back to what I can go back to. That was what I was used to. That's where I'm comfortable.
So it was really your idea to call it quits.
It was my idea. And it wasn't quits. I hate to say quits because a lot of people think, oh, divorce. Well, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
It was, please, I can't do this, please.
Did you want to date again? Other guys? No.
He's a really tough act to follow. You know, and when someone cares about you, even on a friendship level, it's a hard act to follow. Had it not been for all the media and stuff, I would have stayed married to him forever.
If you guys are thinking you're going to see pictures of my kids, wrong. All personal pictures have been taken down.
And people make remarks, oh, I can't believe she left her children. Left them? I left my children? I did not leave my children. My children are with their father, where they're supposed to be. You earn the title parent. My kids don't call me mom because I don't want them to. They're Michael's children. It's not that they're not my children, but I had them because I wanted him to be a father. I believe that there are people who should be parents, and he's one of them. I obviously have some influence, as their faces are still covered. That was my request, not his. I'm the one who's terrified. I'm the one who's seen the notes that someone's going to take his children.
Now, throughout his career, he's surrounded himself with young boys as friends, right?
Yeah, boys hang out with other boys.
Did you ever advise him against it because it might not look good to the rest of the world?
I'm not his mother.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anything inappropriate about it at all.
Okay.
It's because they have preconceived ideas that are absolutely incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Period.
You're comfortable with him being around your children all the time, despite those rumors.
He's their father.
But you don't have
and
any
he is not a
fears
pedophile.
that he would do anything to any of them?
Absolutely not. Not to his children or to anyone else's children.
Okay.
Except help them if they needed it.
Mm-hmm.
If he could do something to make their life better, to make something less painful, to make life a little bit more tolerable, He would do that. But he wouldn't do anything to hurt a child. I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of the bullshit.
Testimony from Jackson's ex-wife, Debbie Rowe. She was called to help their case, but as NBC's Mike Taibbi reports, that strategy may have backfired.
Debbie Rowe made it plain. She just wasn't going to say what prosecutors believed and told the court she'd say. In fact, she expanded her testimony that her glowing interview about her ex-husband 2 years ago was not rehearsed or scripted in any way.
She never said she was forced to do the interview, and she never said it was scripted. On cross-examination, she said she wanted to give spontaneous answers and she wanted to help Michael Jackson. At one point, she looked directly at Jackson and she said, "There are different Michaels." She started to cry and she said, "There's my Michael," and she took a moment to try and compose herself, and then she said, "Then there's the Michael everyone else sees." Many are now wondering, after hearing Rowe's testimony, why the prosecution even called her.
She distances Michael Jackson from the conspiracy. She makes him look like a victim of all of the people surrounding him. She makes prosecutors look bad. She makes the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department look bad. You could essentially distill her testimony and use it as a closing argument if you're Michael Jackson's defense attorneys.
Jackson's lead attorney, Tom Mesereau, also questioned Rowe very briefly, treating her as though she were his own witness. "Who was Michael?" he asked her gently. "Well, there's my Michael," she answered, tearing up and looking at Jackson, "and the Michael that everyone else sees." Prosecutors objected to the communication between witness and defendant.
If this is the prosecution's bombshell witness, it seems to have exploded in their face.
A lot of people would say that it was Debbie Rowe's testimony and the way she testified that saved Michael at that trial.
There have been reports that Michael has abused prescription painkillers and his own family tried an unsuccessful intervention. Have you seen any drug abuse when you were married?
No. No. The kids, the children would not be there if that were the case. I mean, you guys may see me as an offhands mother, your term mother, but no. Mm-mm.
My big fear is I can't talk about it. And my biggest fear is that those fears happen. And I can't stop it.
Breaking news now on Fox News Channel. The Los Angeles Times and the Associated Press are now reporting Michael Jackson has died in Los Angeles this afternoon. Fox News cannot confirm this, but Associated Press has just reported a person with knowledge of the situation says Michael Jackson has died.
Her attorney, Iris Joan Finisilver, is telling NBC News that she has spoken to Debbie, and Debbie is, quote, inconsolable. She has no additional comment at this time.
All the people that claim to be so close to him, not one person tried to stop it. If I know something's wrong, I'm going to try to stop it.
And it angers you that nobody did.
It does. And a man died.
It took a subpoena to bring Debbie Rowe to court to testify for the defense of AEG Live. The company contends that Michael Jackson's drug dependency led to his death and that his habit began years before he died. Rowe was also a nurse assistant to dermatologist Arnold Klein, who she said provided the painkiller Demerol and Propofol for many of the hundreds of treatments Jackson received over 20 years. According to records and evidence, Klein was treating Jackson up until 3 days before his death. Rowe broke down on the witness stand today, describing Jackson as a victim of doctors competing over a celebrity patient. Quote, Michael respected doctors immensely. Unfortunately, some of the doctors decided that when Michael was in pain that they would try to outdo each other. Who could give the better drug? Unquote. Rowe identified the doctors as Klein and plastic surgeon Stephen Heflin. Rowe, quote, these idiots were going back and forth the whole time and not caring about him. Unquote. Rowe testified that Jackson had trouble sleeping but always seemed to be able to sleep after a doctor's appointment.
Mr. Jackson would seek the help of doctors to get some sleep?
Not until we became friends.
Okay. And on those occasions, would he say to you, hi, I've got to get some sleep, you come with me while I get some sleep at a doctor's office?
Sometimes.
And do those include the 3 times outside of the states that we discussed?
I insisted on that.
Why did you insist on that?
I wanted to make sure he woke up.
So you insisted on being present because you want to make sure he woke up?
Yes.
Now, some of the details of Michael Jackson's will had been revealed, like, for instance, that he wanted his mother, Catherine, to be guardian of his children. But other details revealed in court were bombshells. The biggest? That Debbie Rowe, the mother of his older 2 children, is out. Jackson states specifically and clearly in his will, "I have intentionally omitted to provide for my former wife, Deborah Jean Rowe Jackson."
Surprising to you?
You know what, when you look at it, Maggie, it's probably not a surprise. And people should realize it's not an insult to her. It's not saying, I'm going to rub her nose in this and say, you're not part of the package at all. Essentially, she had given up on their marriage. It was dissolved. They had resolved their property distribution. They also had resolved the custody. She had given up custodies.
I wonder if this may be challenged because this will dates back to 2002 and things may have changed between Michael Jackson and Debbie Rowe.
Well, the only thing that you might see in a challenge would be her saying, I want to get back into the custody situation now.
Debbie, are you ready to fight for your kids, Debbie? Well, are you ready to fight for your children? Are you ready to fight for your children?
Do not touch me!
Nobody touched you here.
You just did! Don't!
Debbie Rowe, the mother of MJ's eldest kids, was quoted telling a US TV station that she wanted her children, Prince Michael and Paris Michael. That's despite the late star naming his mother and Diana Ross as their guardians in his will. But Debbie's lawyer, Eric George, says nothing's confirmed. They're still weighing up their options.
I'm representing to you now unequivocally, Debbie has not reached a final decision concerning the pending custody proceedings. When Debbie does take positions in the public forum of the court, those positions will of course be conveyed to all interested persons.
One comforting factor is that Michael's nephew TJ is the primary guardian of the Jackson children.
TJ is an amazing man. He has an amazing family. I am maternal, despite what people think. I am maternal.
Debbie Rowe, Michael Jackson's ex-wife and the mother of 2 of his children, has lived a quiet life ever since their marriage ended back in 1999, but now Debbie has been thrust back into the spotlight after she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Of course, with the bad also comes the good. And for Debbie, the cancer battle has helped her reconnect with daughter Paris, her 18-year-old child with Michael. For a time, Paris and Debbie had drifted apart.
What does it mean to you that Paris is here with you?
She's my rock. She's amazing. She's been with me the whole time. First phone call, took her 30 seconds when she found out. She said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I got this." She said, "I know you do, Mom." For her to kiss my bald head.
That's love without limits, isn't it?
Yeah.
How is your relationship today?
Awesome. Awesome.
If Michael was here today, what do you think he would do? What would he say?
Nice head.
Would he?
I think he'd be really, really supportive, yeah. He told me my life was going to change, and it did. And he's taken such good care of me. He always